Namaste. So today I want to offer up a practice that is centered on moving through fear and worry. States that are very familiar probably right now. And they're not invalid feelings or emotions. If you were like in the woods hiking and a bear started charging you, fear is a very appropriate response. The trick is to not let ourselves get stuck there, right? I had a teacher who used to say worry is praying for the worst case scenario to happen. And fear can just easily take hold of our thoughts and our mind, excuse me, and can sometimes take residence in the body. So we're going to move through some postures today. We're going to do a lot of warrior poses to make us feel strong and empowered in this. We're going to do some breath work at the beginning, and we'll do some long holds to help us sort of release some issues in our tissues, and then we'll do a little meditation at the end. So our breath work technique is called 4-7-8, and what it is you'll breathe in for the count of 4. Yes, Frank Sinatra agrees. You'll breathe in for the count of 4, hold for 7, and breathe out through your mouth for the count of 8. That's Frank. So bring your hands, one hand to belly, one hand to heart. Let your eyes close down. Take a deep breath in, open the mouth, exhale. Deep breath in, big open mouth, exhale. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold for 7. Exhale through the mouth for 8. So do it 3 more times. Inhale. Hold. Through the mouth. Good. Breathe in. Retain the breath. Through the mouth. One more. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. And a deep breath in, big open mouth exhale. All right, we're going to find our way over to our mats. So once you come to your mat, find tabletop. So onto all 4s. Shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees. We're going to move through a few rounds of tabletop here. So inhale into cow pose, exhale into cat. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Let's do 1 more. Flip those toes under. Exhale, hips up into downward facing dog. And there could be some movement this first go around. So maybe up and down on the toes, pedaling out of the legs. We're going to kind of toggle between dog and plank a few times here. So inhale, rock forward into plank pose. Exhale back to down dog. 2 more times like that. Inhale forward. Exhale back. 1 more. Stay here. Then on this exhale, we're going to come all the way down. And we're going to shift our elbows up under our shoulders for Sphinx pose. So just looking straight ahead, shoulder blades on the back, chin parallel to the floor. 3 breaths. Back bends are good to do, especially if you're feeling kind of worrisome, because when we start to worry, we tend to kind of round into ourselves. Bring your forehead back to the floor, hands under the shoulders, your way back to downward facing dog. And back bends help us to kind of open up that shell that we're creating. Forward into plank. Exhale into dog. 2 more like that. Forward into plank. Exhale into dog. Forward into plank and hold. Then exhale all the way down. This time hands are going to stay under the shoulders. And we're going to lift up into a little baby cobra pose. Roll those shoulders back and down. Take another breath in. Exhale, forehead to the floor. Back to down dog. We're just going to do that little sequence 1 more time. So forward into plank. Exhale into dog. 2 more. Then forward. Exhale all the way down. This time, hands interlace at the small of your back. We're going to lift up into a little bound locust pose. Feet can stay grounded. You could lift them if you wanted a little extra. Then release those hands back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in this down dog. It's good to sigh sometimes as well. We're going to walk our feet up to the top of our mat. Come up about halfway. Exhale, fold. Roll all the way up on the inhale. So we're going to move through these warrior poses through a vinyasa. We're not going to do a lot of vinyasas today. So finding the top of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive out over the legs. Halfway up on your inhale. Exhale, take it back to your plank pose. Your way down, maybe to belly for cobra, maybe chaturanga, into up dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to step that right foot forward, hop that left foot about a step forward, turn that heel down. Coming up for warrior one. So for warrior one, you're facing forward. Your hips and shoulders are all coming towards that square side of your mat. Arms up alongside the head. You know, the story of this pose is that this is where Vishnu is sort of raising up his sword. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Left foot forward, right heel down, and up a little bit. Up into warrior one. Hands can be together or apart. Doesn't really matter. Any expression of the pose is the pose. Another inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Stay here and breathe if you're going for more restorative healing. Forward into plank, then your vinyasa if you're going more for progress. Exhale, down dog. Full inhale, full exhale. Right leg coming up on that in-breath. Knee to the nose. Right foot forward between the hands. Left heel down. Up into warrior two this time. So warrior two, you're opening up to this long side of your mat. Here's where we start to get a little bit of hip opening. Arms are in that letter T shape. So if one is our raising of our sword, two is our extension of the sword, right? Make sure you're not gripping your mat with your toes. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Left leg up. Left foot forward, right heel down, gratuitous butt shot, warrior two. Soften those shoulders. Look out over that front set of fingers. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands to your mat. Remember, you could stay here, catch your breath. You could come forward, go through your vinyasa. I'm going to stick with dog on this one. Then, looking forward, right foot forward. I'm going to keep my left heel up this time. And I'm just going to come up about halfway. I'm going to revolve this warrior. So I'm going to take my left elbow to the outside of my right knee and bring my palms together. And then maybe I turn that left heel down and breathe. This is a good one for wringing out those issues. Hands to your floor. Down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Left foot forward. Start with that right heel pointing up. This is not a most flattering angle. Right elbow, outside left knee, and then maybe turn that back heel down. So revolve warrior would be, we're taking that sword to our opponents behind us, not they're behind. Then hands to your mat. Back to down dog. Maybe a vinyasa here. And then we're going to walk our feet about halfway up our mat. Then walk our hands back to our feet and roll up. So we've done 1, 2, and 3. Or sorry, revolved. Now we're going to go for 3. So bring your hands to your hips. Bring your left foot behind you. Press down into that right foot. Lean forward. We're going to take flight here. Woo! Good. Square those hips. Chest and shoulder square to your mat. Now our warrior has taken flight. 2 more breaths. Good. Left foot next to right foot. Inhale. Exhale. Slide that right foot behind you. Then we're going to take flight here. Lift up that right leg. Flex that right foot. Level those hips. A little wobbly on this side. This is very good for helping you to sort of refine your state of balance. And come back up. Roll those shoulders back and down. Take a bow over your legs. Let's walk back to down dog. Last call for a vinyasa if you want that. And then we're going to find our way onto our seat. So we'll do one more active pose and then we'll get into some of the longer holds. So we're going to do a forward fold of Paschimottanasana. So legs extended out in front, toes pointing up. Arms coming up alongside the head. Exhale, hinge forward, grab a hold of your feet, find some length in your spine, draw that belly in. It would stand to reason if your warrior, has been off in battle, that he would need to stretch those hamstrings. Let's do about 5 more breaths here. That was just being silly. Then from here, we're going to go into our longer holds. Reach through the arms. Up on that inhale. Exhale, hands alongside us. So we're going to go into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Soles of the feet coming together, knees open. I want to time this one. We're going to hold this one for about 2 minutes. So lengthen up on your in-breath. On your exhale, hinge forward. Let your chin drop towards your chest. Find some roundness in your back. Breathe into those back ribs. Wiggle the hips if you need to. If it feels like everything is just kind of holding on here. You might move the feet forward or back, closer to you. So good for stretching all that tissue up and down the spine. Also a great hip opener. You're well past that halfway point. About 30 seconds to go here. And then we're going to lean to the spine, bring the torso up. Go nice and slow here. That's a long stretch. You don't want to just try to run out of it. Roll the shoulders back and down. Full breath in, full breath out. Now we're going to do a heart opener next. We're going to do one from a tabletop position. If that one doesn't feel so great for you, feel free to come onto your back and do a supported bridge pose where you'll lift up your hips and put a block or something underneath your low back tailbone. Otherwise, in this shape of tabletop, you want to keep the thighs perpendicular to the floor, so the booty is going to stay pretty high. And then we're going to, I gotta get that to where I can see it. We're going to walk the hands forward and start to let our heart melt down. Now, if it's not comfortable to let your head reach the floor, bend an arm and let your forehead rest on your forearm. Otherwise, you're letting those shoulder blades kind of meet each other on your back and your forehead on the floor. I like to take my hands about as wide as my mat here and close your eyes. Toes can be flat or curled under. So it's almost like your back looks like a like an amusement park ride. If you had a Hot Wheel car, you could put it at your small of your back and let it roll down. I suppose. I've never actually tried that. A little bit more than a minute here. Let your breath soften into its natural expression. About 20 more seconds. So keeping in mind that you're not going to rush out of this pose. Bring one hand under your shoulder and then the other. And we'll press back up to that shape of tabletop. Let's sit back on the heels. Give the shoulders a roll. That's really good for, when we kind of get very worried or afraid, we kind of curl into ourselves. We make this little shell. That's a great pose to reopen that heart center. We're going to move into those hips next. We're going to do a pose called deer. It's a good variation for pigeon, if pigeon's not a pose that your knee or your hip responds well to. If this shape of deer is not suiting you, again, I'll encourage you to come onto your back and put your right ankle onto your left thigh. Otherwise, you can bring this right leg in front of you, right shin, kind of running parallel to me or to your mat. Left leg is off to the side. I like to make sure my left knee and hip are in the same line. Now, if you tend to be a little tighter in the IT bands, like I am, you're going to start with your hands kind of off to the right here. And as you start to proceed into the shape of this pose, notice that there will be a tendency for you to kind of push this hip forward and kind of squeeze that glute. You want to try to keep that as passive and as soft as you can. Now, when you feel like that right IT band is starting to open up a little bit, you can start to walk your way over this right shin. And this one, I'm not going to so much round into it. I like to keep a little bit of length in my spine. One that helps me to relax, again, that left glute, but also to get into that right hip. My cat has currently found a ray of sunshine. Flex that front foot. You're about halfway through on this side. He's a very happy cat. About 30 more seconds here. These hips can be big sort of storage units for old emotions, stories, beliefs that don't serve us anymore. So don't be too surprised if you get a little angry or antsy in these hip openers. Start to bring your hands back towards you. If you're on your back, free up that ankle from thigh. We're going to lean to the right. We're going to swing that leg around in front, left leg that is. Pause here. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth exhale. If you're on your back, hug that right knee into your chest, extend that left leg, then take your right knee over to the left. If you're seated with me, left hand to right knee, we're going to take a little twist to the right. Soften those shoulders down from those ears. And then we're going to come back to center. We're going to do that left leg in front. So left leg in front, right leg off to the side. Get our timer where we can see it here. All right, so left shin more or less parallel. Hands off to the side here. Left side is often tighter for most of us. There's some schools of thought that think it's because it's this is our more emotional side of our physical being. So that could be true. I certainly get more agitated on this side. And again, maybe you make your way over that front shin. And a couple of exhales out of the mouth. This is a good side to notice too if your shoulders are coming up to your ears or you're clenching in your jaw or in your eyebrow. I'm really feeling this in that left outer hip today. It's not super happy with me. We got about a little more than 30 seconds here. Last 15 seconds. Okay, so start to come back up. Again, if you're on your back, free up that ankle from thigh. If you're seated, lean to the left so you can swing that right leg in front. If you're on your back, hug that left leg in. Extend out the right leg, take the left leg over to the right. Seated with me, right hand to left knee, taking that twist to the left. Oh, that was a good pop. And then come back to the center. If you're seated, go ahead and find your way onto your back. Go ahead and find a lying down supine position. We'll take a brief little Savasana here. So once you're on your back, one hand on belly, one hand on heart. Take that deep breath into your belly and your chest. Open the mouth, exhale. This time as you breathe in, tighten every muscle. Flex your feet, make fist, shrug the shoulders, squeeze the eyes, purse the lips. Open the mouth, soften all of that. Again, deep breath in, tighten everything up along the way. When you get to the top, hold the breath. Then open the mouth, exhale. Let's do it one more time. Deep breath, tense the whole body. Hold at the top of that breath. See if you can sip in a little more. Open the mouth, exhale. Wiggle out your fingers and your toes. Roll around your ankles and your wrist. And just give yourself a couple of minutes here. Let your breath deepen. So for your meditation, you could stay on your back, but maybe bend the knees and let your feet rest on the floor. Otherwise, try to keep your eyes closed, maybe roll to one side and come up to a seated position. So rather than trying to push that worry away, we're going to actually sit with it for a second. But then we're going to shift our attention from worst case scenario to best case scenario. You know, the act of worrying, it is almost like an emotional rehearsal for a worst case scenario. So we're going to see what it would be like to rehearse for a best case scenario. So with your eyes closed, soften the body. Check in to see where you might be holding on to some tension. Might be between the brows or the jaw, might be the shoulders, might be the glutes, could be hands or feet. Soften. Notice your breath. Try to let it find a natural rhythm. You don't need to control it here. It's going to happen, I promise. And we're going to scan the mind. So just kind of scanning your thoughts, swiping through. And something may come right away. But find one worry that if you gave it enough attention, you could turn it into a big produced scenario in your mind. So as you pick that worry, and you find that worst case scenario, first picture it. What does it look like? Who's involved? What are you doing? Where is it? And what does it feel like? What are the emotions that come up with that? Fear would probably be one. Maybe there's anger. Maybe there's grief. Let's feel it. And then we're going to take a deep breath in and a big open mouth exhale. Let's start to switch it. What would the best case scenario of that worry look like? The complete opposite of that. Picture it. What does it look like? What are the people involved doing in the best case scenario? And if best case feels like too much of a leap for you, what would the better case scenario be? Picture what you're doing. Really see it. See where it is, the rooms if it's inside, the landscape if it's outside. What are you wearing? Picture it. And then what does it feel like? What are the feelings that come with that? A Course in Miracles says that all of our actions, thoughts, everything is rooted in a place of love or in a place of fear. So in this better or best case scenario, these are loving feelings that you're tapping into. Joy, gratitude, excitement, abundance. What are those feelings in the best case scenario? Sit in those feelings. Say them. I am grateful. I am abundant. I am happy. I am content. Whatever these feelings are, say them in the present tense. Feel those feelings. Feel them in your body. Feel the shoulders soften. Feel space between that upper and lower jaw. Feel space between the brows. Maybe even feel a smile on your face. And mentally repeat this affirmation. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. We say in meditation that our growth and our progression is in the constant starting over of the practice. So every time that worry comes in, I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. Keep sitting with this. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. We allow ourselves to sit in these feelings of our best case scenario, then the worry that takes our mind hostage becomes less powerful, has less hold of us. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. If you're having difficulty believing that, scan, look for the ways that life is working for you. There's a roof over your head. The sun is out. Birds are chirping. I am worthy of more good than I can imagine. Stay in the shape that you're in, seated or lying down. Borrowing from the loving kindness meditation. May I be safe. May I be satisfied. May I be steady. May I be strong. Bring to mind everyone that you love, your friends, your family, your pets, people that you're neutral about, co-workers, neighbors, people you don't know, people you have beef with, all sentient beings. May we all be safe. May we all be satisfied. May we all be steady. May we all be strong. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Namaste.